Every AI model, like Google's Gemini, has a limitation known as a knowledge cutoff that stops it from accessing information beyond a specific year. This means asking Gemini real-time questions isn't possible. But what if we could grant Gemini API access to real-time data? Let's take a look. Hi everyone, my name is Hilman from SerpApi. In this video, we are going to see how to connect Gemini API with Google Answer Box using function calling. Make sure to register at Google AI Studio to get your Gemini API key, and register at serpapi.com to get your SerpApi API key. This is how the function calling works. So first, we will need a simple prompt, a human natural language, and we will parse the search query from this data using function calling. So based on this prompt, we can get this query, and we will perform a search live at Google using this query using SerpApi API. If you need to do other things, you can definitely use other API or your own custom functions here. And after that, after we get the data that we need from the API, we can ask the AI model again to answer in a human language. So this will be step by step how we will approach this. Let's dive in the code sample. The source code is available in GitHub. I'll share it in the description box below. I've also shared the detailed instruction how to run this code in the README file. So first we need to create the environment, and then we need to activate the source. We need to install two packages. First for the Gemini Python SDK with pip install Google Generative AI, and second for the SerpApi package called Google Search Results. We also need to export two API keys, first for the Gemini API key and second for the SerpApi API key. And then we can run the function by running python realtime.py, or if you want to see the basic sample of function calling, I've also shared it in this file. Now let's focus at the realtime.py file. We import the two packages we just mentioned. We configure the Gen AI or Generative AI by Google and importing the API key here. Now I prepared the function declaration. So this is the real function that we are going to call. We name it getAnswerBox. You can name it whatever you want. And this is the method from SerpApi to access Google search result page. We can get the answer box specifically by getting the dictionary here. So we return only the answer box when we are calling this function. Note that we need query as the parameter here upon performing a search at SerpApi. After the actual function, now we need to declare the type schema of this function. It consists of name, description, and parameters. So you need to adjust this function declaration depend on your custom function. In parameters, I only need query and it marks as a required parameter here. Next, I'm going to use this prompt as a test. So it's a human natural language, but I want the AI model to get the query based on the sentence. So here I'm declaring the Gen AI.generative model using this particular model. And then we generate the content with the first parameter is the prompt. And the second one is the tools, which is an array of object. And in the first object, the key is function declarations. And the value is an array of the function declarations we have. So far, we only have one function declaration or one schema here. But if you have multiple functions, feel free to add it in this array. So now, based on this response, we can get the specification of the function call that we can use. Through this line, we store everything on the function call. So we can separate and make it simple to get the arguments using function call.args and the function name through function call.name. So now I can check if the function name is getAnswerBox. If so, we will call the actual getAnswerBox, which we declared in the first part. And as the query, we pass the from args and query. So if we have multiple arguments here, we will call it by the key name here. So far, we already received the answer box by calling SerpApi API here. Here we return the answer box. After that, we can put the data in a string so we can concatenate it later. I use JSON dumps to turn the JSON structure or the dictionary into string, and I limit the character to 500 only, since the response can be very big and it can exceed our token limitation. So for now, I'm limiting the JSON data to only the first 500 characters and store it in this variable. Next, since we only have the raw data from our API, we still need to ask AI to respond in a human natural language. So therefore, we will use model.generateContent method and use this prompt here. First, we are going to share the context or the data that we get from the data from API. And this question, which is the prompt, the original prompt from the user, and ask to respond to the user in a friendly manner and print the response text. So that's the step-by-step on how we can get to the human natural language response at the end. Now let's run this function. Make sure you are in the environment by running the source. Export your Gemini API key and export your SerpApi API key. And now let's run python realtime.py. Now this is the query we need to run in the Google Live Search. We log it here in this line. And as the answer, you can see it contradicts my original statement in my prompt. I mentioned it's freezing, which is not, so it contradicts this statement. It's not freezing in London today because they know what the temperature is. And if we double check this query in Google, as we can see, currently is 70 degree Fahrenheit, which is correct. So that's it. Feel free to try this program with a different prompt that require a real-time answer that can be answered by Google Answer Box. Feel free to play with it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. And see you on the next video. Bye.